Hello. The administration of White Dog First Nation would like to acknowledge the ongoing water crisis that we have all been suffering through since December. It's been a terrible burden on our community, and we want you to understand exactly what has happened, what we are doing to fix it, and why the process is taking such a long time. These services belong to you, and you deserve answers. The water problem began with the detection of diesel fuel in the clean water holding tank, preventing the safe delivery of water to homes. Several cleaning attempts were made, but the issue looks to be bigger than we thought. There is no simple and easy fix for the pumping station. Our new plan is to create a temporary bypass to allow water to go straight from the water treatment plant to the water tower. This is the safest and fastest option at this time. We are working on a long-term plan to fix or replace the pumping station in the spring. We are also working with very reputable and experienced contractors to complete the work. Here is a timeline of how this crisis unfolded. December 21st. A pipe burst late in the night at the pumping station, causing a loss of water pressure and draining of the water tower. The pumping station had flooded due to a burst pipe, causing the pumps to stop working. A jerry can was found in the building, and there was the smell of diesel fuel in the air. Broken pumps kept any contamination from spreading throughout the community. December 22nd. Community leadership and Spills Action Center were notified about the potential contamination. Samples were taken by KCA to see if diesel had entered the water supply. There was a noticeably oily layer on top of the water in the holding tank. The community ran out of water at around noon on December 22nd. An emergency committee attempted to contact the Ministry of Environment to ask how to safely get rid of the contaminated water. We also contacted contractors to repair the pumps and clean the holding tank after removing the water. On December 23rd, evacuation efforts began. A plan was created to have a professional contractor clean the holding tank, but we had to wait for advice from the Ministry of Environment on how to get rid of the contaminated water safely. Naturally, services were difficult to access over the holidays. December 26th, we were advised that contaminated water could be pumped outside as long as it was passed through a filter designed to remove fuels. A filter system was sourced from Red Lake, but delayed due to poor weather. December 28th. A filter system arrived and was prepared. 2 to 3 days were needed to pump out the water through the filter. The holding tank would be cleaned after it was emptied, which should take another day or two. January 2nd. There were delays with cleaning the holding tank due to a leak from an old capped-off pipe in the holding tank. This was a previously known leak, which caused the boil water advisory to be issued earlier in July 2022. January 4th. The leak cannot be fully repaired, but it was sealed enough to continue cleaning. January 5th. The cleaning is complete and the holding tank refilled. Samples were taken to ensure safety and rushed to the lab. Results would take between 1 and 3 days depending on shipment speed. January 7th. Tests showed that there was still diesel in the holding tank after cleaning. A decision was made to involve an environmental engineer, WSP, to assess the situation and investigate other possible sources of contamination. January 9th. A work plan was developed to try cleaning the holding tank again with careful supervision. We will investigate other areas such as the river, the raw water intake station, water treatment plant, and around the pumping station to make sure there are no other sources of fuel in the water. January 10th. We started a new cleaning cycle with emptying the tank. A cleaning cycle should take around 7 to 9 days, and sampling will be done again afterwards. There were some unexpected results. Fuel was not found in the interior walls of the pumping station, which means that the path for the fuel to get into the holding tank may be different than previously expected. January 16th. Cleaning was completed and the samples taken for analysis. January 20th. We got lab results showing that there was still fuel in the holding tank exceeding health limits. The amount of fuel in these samples was comparable to the first cleaning, meaning that the cleaning procedure was not the problem. We think that the fuel entered the groundwater beneath the plant through a broken drain line and got into the holding tank through the leaking abandoned pipe. Since the soil is potentially contaminated, there would be no quick fix good enough to be sure that it wouldn't get back into the holding tank again. We have now started work on a bypass system. However, this requires a high-powered pump, so careful planning and special parts are needed for the installation. We cannot guarantee an end date due to the wait time on parts. We have heard that some items may take up to 3 weeks to arrive. Once parts arrive, it will take about a week to install the bypass and another few days to refill the tower and safely restore water without causing damage to the system. The current estimate is beginning of March for completion. Thank you for being patient throughout this ordeal. Please be assured that we are working as hard as we can to get this water outage fixed as fast as possible.